Hello.
Howdy.
Welcome to Are You Mad at Me? I'm Vicki Morgan.
I'm Josh Morgan.
This is episode 5, season 2.
Yeah.
So way to go.
We're doing it.
We're doing it. We're sitting here at midnight on Tuesday night. If you're in the another time zone, it could possibly be
earlier or later.
8:30 in the afternoon, in the evening. And so it doesn't seem so extreme, except by that standard, if you're listening out in BC, then this is actually posted at 4:30 a.m., which is still problematic. The time, the space of time is still the same, but it might not seem as drastic if you're in a different time zone.
Yeah,
anyway,
true.
It's almost midnight at 12 on Tuesday, and Josh is going to cut this together. And so if you're wondering, should I hire Josh Morgan to produce my podcast? I mean, can he work under a deadline? Like, if I have him in my orbit, like, can I trust him to deliver what he says? And yes, you should have Josh Morgan in your orbit. Huh?
Yeah.
Yeah, I think so. Okay, here's a number that I thank you for listening, by the way. If you're just joining us, if this is the first episode you've ever listened to, where have you been? What the hell? What's your problem?
Yeah, we've done a lot.
There's a lot. Like, there's like
We're up to
60.
like 60 or something.
Yeah, that's a lot.
Yeah.
Anyway, here's a number that I want you to remember. 17,280. That's going to be a prize-winning answer later on. I'm not sure what the prize is yet.
That's going to be important.
17,280. And I'm going to get to that in just a second. I promised Josh we'd do a quick one. First of all, we don't have proper chairs.
Yeah, we're figuring that out.
We moved everything down in the studio because we are in the process of recording a brand new album, and so we're set up for recording music. So this, I said, Josh, just lean up again. Josh doesn't do well on stools.
I need something to lean back on because my back gets sore because I'm old.
You're not old. And I keep telling him it's okay. That means we'll do a short podcast, which is better for everybody.
And then 2 hours later,
Yeah, and Vicki keeps going and
I'm
going and
sweating
going.
and shaking.
Yep. And so I said, just lean back up against the wall. And he said, but then everybody will know that it's not a real backdrop. So I'm just going to hear to...
It is a real backdrop. It's not a real bookcase.
Not here. Exactly. So I'm just going to hear... I want to dispel the myth. This is all books. Look, I'm reading one right now.
Those are books that we have written and published and illustrated.
This is all the books we've
This
published.
is all us.
I love it.
The Are You Mad at Me library.
Yes, there's a lot of them. So how have you been?
Good.
Yeah. We're into winter number 17.
We got another 5 inches of snow the other day.
Yes. We were out till the street lights came on earlier this week. And then the next day, sleet and ice and snow. And then the trees didn't have a chance to recover for the next 3 days. There was a inch of ice all over the trees. It was gorgeous, but treacherous. And then we got more snow on top of that. So we are in winter, the winter of our lives right now. It's like not even funny anymore.
Yes, we are starting to look for a snowblower in almost May.
Yeah. Okay. So I did have some good news to share. We heard from one of our favorite podcast listeners, and they listened to the episode about the pain points and went they went ahead and posted. They did a social media content based on a pain point that we mentioned on the podcast, and they sent a screenshot to us, and we love that. That's a lot of pluck.
Interaction.
And I hope a whole bunch of people listened and reacted to that, and I hope all the business went that person's way, because they deserve it and they're really good at what they do. What else?
Yeah, we've been just chugging right along.
Yeah. We've been walking a lot.
We've been working on our social media marketing.
Yeah.
For our own stuff.
Yep.
Which I think is what we're leading into for this episode, right?
Yes. So, are we seeing results yet? Absolutely not. But I want to give it some perspective. And this is not like, I know sometimes I kind of, you know what, let's just do some things on the podcast that we can cut up later and make it a social media content. That's not what this is. This is Vicki's going to overshare and tell what it's really like to be an artist. So this is for you. If you're an artist and you're sitting there going, things aren't working and I'm trying so hard and I'm swimming upstream and it's not working out. So here's some honesty for you. I have, between us, how many books do we have?
It's with the different formats, right?
No, just different
just
books,
the
different
actual
titles.
books?
Yep.
So For the Grace of Joe.
Yep.
How to Fail at Documentary Filmmaking.
Yep.
How to Be a Famous Sexy Writer.
Yep.
Bare Bones Guides 1, 2, and 3.
Yep.
And then the coloring books 1, 2, and 3.
Yep. That's it.
That's all of them, right?
That's 9.
Yeah.
That's 9. So then, okay, so we got 9 books. Then we got 3 different formats. Audiobook, ebook, paperback.
Right.
Okay.
Some of them are not audiobooks.
The Bare Bones and the How to Fail coloring books are not audiobooks.
Yeah, we had a hard time figuring out how to color an audiobook.
Yeah, that was kind of tricky. People were ruining their iPads.
Yeah.
Okay, so that you just messed up my math. That didn't work. That did not. Cut this out. Can we go back to the post? Okay. Generally speaking, let's pretend.
Let's say it's 3.
Let's say all 9 books are in 3 different formats.
27. 27.
Well, I think it's 20. I think the
pieces.
final number of pieces of product available on Amazon is at 21. And I know that because I'm on a page on Facebook that is 20 books to 50K.
Yeah.
Wow, I'm nowhere near. I mean, I think I'd be hard pressed to say $50.
50,000 doll hairs.
Yes, yeah. So, but there's a Facebook group that purports, is that the word? Alludes to, if you have 20 books written, then there's a good chance you can make $50,000. I don't know how they're doing that. But I think they might mean 20 separate books. So that might be the thing too. Because technically, I have written 3 books. One of those books I broke down into sections. So there's just on paperbacks, just on eBooks, and just on marketing. And then those books were recreated into coloring books where after each chapter, there's a coloring page that we did by hand, no AI, hand-drawn coloring pages. They're gorgeous. You can get those in paperback and hardcover. So technically, altogether, 21.
Yeah, okay.
21
so 21 products.
Okay.
And then how many platforms are they on?
Okay, so we started off with Amazon.
Yep.
So they're on Amazon, Kindle, and
ACX or Audible?
Audible. Yep. That's where we started off. As soon as we hit publish on that book, about a week later, I found out how to go wide. So the books are currently, and I'm going to have to check this. We're going to fix this in post. It's on.
We'll just do a big list. Bump.
So we publish through Author Central. Author Central?
Draft to digital.
No, the audiobook one.
Oh, the audiobooks, yeah. Authors
Republic.
Yeah.
So you can put your audiobook on Authors Republic, and is it an aggregator? They will send it out to about 15 different places so your audiobook is distributed by them for free. You set up your banking information, you do the whole thing that you did with KDP, and the audiobook goes out to a whole bunch of places. Then you go back so there's one company, I can't remember what it's called. It's got a funny name, but they charge you like $50 per book. So if you got an ebook and paperback, you get $50. So they send it out to, like, let's say 6 or 7 different companies. But there's a company called Draft to Digital, Draft number 2 Digital, and it distributes to all the books that the paid one does, and also a whole bunch of other ones, including Overdrive, which sends it to all the libraries.
Is that U.S. libraries or Canadian libraries?
I don't actually know. I know it's definitely American. I assume they're everywhere. I don't know. I know that we were talking to somebody at the Newfoundland Public Library here at an event a couple of weeks ago, and they ordered a bunch of copies of my book, but I didn't see a cent. So I don't know where they got their books. So I don't know if somebody's out there printing my books on the black market, but please stop, because I didn't see any money from it.
I'm sure that's just...
But enjoy the library. Go get the books at the library for sure. So here's the math that I'm trying to... So we talked earlier... probably last week, or at least amongst ourselves this past week, we talked about doing a social media calendar, which is what all the young people are doing. All the, 22-year-olds with the degrees and the perfect hair and all that stuff.
And we talked
I have a very specific image of somebody who just came out of university who does social media. That might be part of the problem.
Last year we talked about a local company that does marketing that was hosting get-togethers and stuff, and they do social media calendars. They have a website, an app that's a social media calendar that people use here in Newfoundland and internationally. Yeah. But it's just a scheduler, social media scheduler.
So we looked at that last week, and first of all, it's in American funds, which I was very surprised by because they are definitely based here in Newfoundland. So that was kind of surprising. So they will do, I think, 5 posts per month for free on 2 different platforms.
Yeah,
or 3.
I think so.
Something like that.
We looked up all the details. There was a lot of different options, different.
So the
companies.
free option, if we're just looking at the free option, if you're getting into, like, you got 2 team members or more working on your social media content, then it becomes a paid thing. But there's lots of free options out there. Here's where I got tripped up, and this is probably going to be another bare bones guide one of these days. I wasn't comfortable handing over the passwords to my social media accounts, to a social media calendar. So yes, it's really great to have it scheduled and all that. However, here's my 2 fears. Here's my objections. If something tragic happens in the world and you have scheduled a post that's like totally self-centered and self-serving, and it's completely tone deaf to the thing that happened that everybody's talking about, but you forgot to take it down.
Like bear down for midterms in community.
What?
They had a whole party and it was themed with bears, and they were going to bear down for midterms. But then when they got there, they realized there was like a bear attack that had happened and some kids had gotten attacked or something, and they were like, Oh, that's why that was in my head, because I saw that on the news. But it was
100% that, yes, that's exactly it. And if you don't know, Josh's love language is memes and TV quotes and movie quotes. And if you haven't seen the movies, you might not understand sometimes.
Who hasn't seen Community? Seriously.
I did get it this time. Sometimes, again, if you haven't seen it, like he stopped doing Monty Python lines, thank God, because that was brutal. I've never seen him and will never ever. I will go to my grave without seeing Monty Python. I can promise you. Actually, you could probably play it in the funeral home, and that'll be the last sarcastic thing you do. Anyway, because I'll haunt you. Okay, where was I? Oh, social media calendars. Okay. So what I've seen...
Your second objection. Your first objection was doing something that you didn't realize something was going on in the world.
Yeah.
Your second objection was giving them your passwords?
Giving them the passwords and stuff. That doesn't feel quite... Why would I... Anyway, it just seems like...
That's the whole thing on social media. Like somebody hacks your account and gets your change your passwords because somebody, so giving out your passwords is like... It's like a whole thing on
Well, it's like if I
media.
went up to an older lady and
That's
said...
the one thing they tell us. Don't give your passwords out.
Yes, and we listen at those seniors meetings. So if I went up to a lady on the street right now, let's say she's older than me, 75 or something, and I say, hey, look, I know it's such a pain to have to log into your bank every week and pay all your bills, and you got all those different accounts for all your grandchildren and all that stuff. Give me all your passwords. I'll take care of it for you. I'll do it for free. Are you going to get some red flags from that?
Yeah.
Probably. So I'm not encouraging you to sign up for these free things. What I am encouraging you to do, and this might be like, there might be people listening going, oh, she loves Google. I do love Google. I don't know what they're doing with our information.
What's wrong with Google?
Frankly, I don't care. It's a great service. It's the email comes in and maybe I get some targeted ads. That's great. That's fine. They can do it. That's fine because I get email from it. In Google, you can have in your Google Drive, you can do a Google document, which is not the way to publish a book, by the way. You need Microsoft Word for that. But there's Google Sheets, which is where you put your social media calendar. You make one for yourself. It's an Excel spreadsheet basically, but it's like the Google branded.
The Google version of
you can still
Excel.
You can export things as an Excel spreadsheet if you want to, if you're using that platform. But right now, if you have a Gmail address, there's a free thing right in Google Drive for free. You can also do your website on Google Sites, also totally free. I don't know what they're doing with their information, frankly.
It's a pretty basic option, but it's very like we needed something for our band.
Yep.
A couple weeks ago, we were doing some applications, and they were asking for a website link to your bio and
your EPK.
Basically your EPK, your press kit. And I was like, well, I can just email you the bio. That's what some people, but so they needed a website. So I went on Google Sites and it took me like 20 minutes to make like a super plain, like simple 1-page Mulberry Creek picture of us, our bio, some videos that I embedded from YouTube, and it took like 20 minutes, and it's like sites.google.com/user/Mulberry Creek, but you can pay for a domain. Like you can go to GoDaddy and pay the $1 for 2 years or whatever it is and add a domain to it if you want to. I found that Wix you can't do, like with Wix you can do a free website and it's super intuitive and like there's a lot of stuff that goes along with it. But if you want to have a domain with Wix, like if you want to go to GoDaddy and get a domain name and then put it into Wix, you have to subscribe to Wix. So it's like a $12.99 a month subscription to Wix, plus you're paying for
have it rerouted to a proper
plus you're
domain?
paying for your domain. It's like their free tier does not include domain address, like personal domains. So with Google Sites, it's a little bit more stripped down, and you can't do as much with it. But it's like super easy, free, and you could just if you decide down the road you want to add a domain. Yes. Question:
can you forward your Google site to a custom domain?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, you can. That's what I'm saying. You can do that on Google Sites. You can have like right now ours is just sites.google.com/user/Mulberry Creek or whatever.
We could get our own website.
If we went to GoDaddy
address,
you pay or whatever domain name you want to, whatever you pay them for your domain, and then you have it, and then you route that through. There's a whole process to route it through Google Sites, but we've done it before, and we did it with Self Published NL.
Of course,
we've done it with other sites.
VickyMorgan.com was my own. We had our own page for a little while.
But Google Sites is super easy if you just need to set something up. Because then I had that page and I put the link in, and it was all in the same setting. I was doing the application. They needed this thing. I went over to Google Sites, set it all up. Then I had a link for them.
Thank you for doing all that.
Free.
And I'm going to correct one thing that you said. It was not for funding. Josh, okay, so we set up a spreadsheet to distribute our music. Because we have a new album coming out and we wanted to get it right this time around and make sure it goes beyond 2 or 3 stations. So we started combing the internet, and we found at least 100 stations that have folk shows around the world. And Josh, we did a Google sheet where we put down the website, the contact information, the name of the show, and then over in the notes section, because it's an Excel spreadsheet, you can put in any size column you want. And any amount of information. So over in the notes, Josh has sent them our music. They only take stuff from Boston. They're going to play our stuff on Monday.
Some radio stations only take physical copies, like, so you have to send them a CD or a tape or whatever. And some radio stations only take electronic.
Yep.
So it's not the same for all of them.
And it's different per DJ as well. So some DJs within an organization
sometimes
prefer.
they say, find the show you like, and then it's like, well, I haven't listened to all your shows, I don't know.
And there's,
but it's great for people that live in that community.
We have had a radio play now over in like Australia and the UK.
Yeah, we'll get an
is
email.
That the same place?
No, we'll get an email from England. We got one the other day, and it was like, we're playing your show. Yeah. We're playing 2 of your songs on our Sunday show, and it's going to be repeated Monday, Tuesday, Thursday, and Friday.
Perfect.
So it was like 2 songs getting played 5 times in England. That's fantastic.
For free. Now, is it time consuming to do up the spreadsheet and keep track of everything so you're not just...
It was a lot of emails and a lot of forms to get filled out and a lot of... It was...
But in the process,
a few hours of work.
What you figured out was what they all want. So you now have Dropbox, you have WeTransfer folders, you have the EPK set up with a website. Like you have, I don't think there's anyone could come up to you right now and ask for any format that you don't have. We have MP3s, we have WAV files for our songs, we have radio edit versions that don't have the swear words.
Yeah.
So now, when we go to apply for funding, which Music NL for some reason just opened up, and it's till June 12th, I think. I can't remember. Don't quote me on that. It might be May 12th. But they have opened up the funding for professional development, so for recording albums and EPs and some of the production.
Does that include traveling too for?
That's a different fund.
Professional development.
That happens every month. There's a touring amount, and of course that's in every province. All the music associations across Canada have money to tour. They also have money for producing albums, and then there's the other one for professional development. So if you want to take a course in mixing or harmony or marketing or whatever, it's all available. So these are great things. We're in Canada, so so now that you have all that stuff put together, all the bios, all the files to send to everybody, the radio edit versions, now it's all done, and we have a website on Google. So to bring it all back to,
we were talking about doing a social media calendar.
Using Google Sheets to do a social media calendar. So I have seen glimmers of this on YouTube. I've seen some young, I don't know, it's always women. I have not seen any men. I don't know why that is. I have not seen men sharing marketing information or how to do a social media calendar. I'm sure they do it, but I haven't seen it so far. And of course, my algorithm now will probably show me every dude on the planet who has a social media calendar. So essentially what I learned from this, sorry, I can't remember the girl's name, but she showed her spreadsheet, and she spread out over 30 days. She had a list of things that she was going to post, one thing every day, where it was going to be, what it was, basically the premise of it, and if she did it or not, and what platform she was going to put it on, which is pretty brilliant. Now, of course, the list is not going to do anything for you. You actually have to do the things. I am a list maker. I don't know if that means I have ADHD or something, but I like to see not only that I am keeping track of it, but it's nice to see that you actually did a whole bunch of stuff. So by the 27th of the month, when you're looking back going, I'm not seeing it, I'm useless. I didn't do anything this month.
Or you're looking back going, why do I have so much work? And it's like, oh, because I did all this social media
stuff.
There's
that. So in the sales and marketing world, I learned it. I came from high school. There was a teacher, Mr. Squires, that we had, and he gave us a really eloquent analogy. And he said, if you throw enough shit at the wall, some of it's bound to stick. So that's why he made us write notes. Very eloquent. It was a Jesuit school. I'm kind of surprised he said shit. But anyway, this is basically it. So if you're doing nothing and you're not getting any results, that kind of makes sense.
And you're right on par.
So you can meditate, and you can journal, and you can align, and you can visualize yourself in the end, and you can all those things, which is great. Sometimes you might need to make a little tiny bit of an effort. You might need to cooperate with your own dreams. And sometimes when you meditate and journal, sometimes the idea comes back and says, what if you posted this? Sometimes I'll say, no, I don't need to do anything. It'll all flow to me.
If it's meant to be, it'll just happen.
And my problem is that I also, is it ADHD? Is it some kind of other condition that I have? That's fine for that day, but then the next day I'm like, I haven't done anything. I'm such a failure. Oh my God. So I need to be doing. That's why I have stacks and stacks of face cloths or dishcloths, and stacks of hats, and stacks upon stacks of wraparound shawls that have sleeves in them for some reason, because that's what we need. I can't wear those in Newfoundland, by the way.
They're very hot right now.
Because you can't wear them with a jacket around you, and you can't put it over a jacket. So
there's a brief window of springtime in there where it's warm enough for
between 2 and 4 2 p.m. on May 3rd.
Yeah,
that's it. That's the time you can
all
wear
of them
it.
at once.
But I made a lot of them. That's the good news. So, but I need to keep my hands busy. So if you're a person that likes to keep busy, here's a way to put your energy into it. Social media calendar. Let's just say, for the fun of it, you don't have to plan out your whole year. What if you just planned for 30 days? So are you okay if I share our conversation from earlier today?
Yeah.
Okay. Josh texted me, and he said, it is very difficult to, it is way harder than I expected to do a social media calendar.
You went upstairs to work on yours, and I went downstairs to work on mine, and I was like, well, yeah, I'll just do a bunch of ideas in the spreadsheet. That's right. And for 30 days, I'll come up with 30 ideas.
Yeah, okay.
I went to ChatGPT, and
hold on.
Okay.
It's right there. So Josh went off to fill out what he thought was a social media calendar. Okay. He said, filling up this content calendar is harder than I thought it would be. Okay. We didn't discuss what's going in the calendar, but okay. I said, let me see what you got. And I said, I'm the one with the degree. Nobody expects that you'll fill a content calendar. And he said, it feels like you're mocking me. To which I said, huh? And then I said, well, show me what you got. And he sent me a list, okay? And he sent me back a spreadsheet with 12 ideas. These are all individually things that you would take to a marketing consultant and say, build me a social media calendar around this idea. And he sent me 12 ideas that you could build. I mean, do I need to say it again? You could build an entire marketing program plan around every single one of the ideas that he sent me. And he was like, this is hard. I can only come up with 12. Oh my God. So, all right. And then the other thing I said was, because he didn't realize, and then he said he thought I was making fun of him.
I thought you were making fun of me because it was like, yeah, I don't expect you to fill out a whole. That's how I read the tone. I don't expect you to write words into a calendar.
Yeah,
that's
but
a bit
the
harsh.
Words are marketing plans, and to have some basis.
Obviously, that's not what you meant. Business
planning, sales, promotion, and marketing. There is something to be said for having some kind of a background in that. And, like sometimes there are people who become, like they do a graphic design program and they go out and they start a marketing company, which is hilarious to me. Just because you know how to do a poster and read a brief does not mean you know how to do a marketing plan. Like, graphic design is part of a marketing plan, yes?
Yeah.
Okay, so let's get back on track here. So I said, it's not a new idea every day. It's an idea that can be made into a piece of content. Anyway, so we went back and forth on that. So I told him he had about a year of content. And I said, you have a teaching degree, an English degree, and a graphic design degree. If you could do marketing, I'm going to kill myself. And he laughed at that. So then, because that's funny. So this is what got kind of funny for me. Because here's where Josh comes in, and here's where the math comes in. I have 9 books. What's the 20?
20 was the that was the number of platforms that you have it on.
Is that right? Is
that
what it was?
9 books on 20 platforms in 3 different formats. So
that's 9 times 20 times 3 was 27 times. Anyway, so then, okay, so we've got so let's say Monday, May 1st. I don't know when May starts, but May 1st. It does not need to be every single thing all on Monday, right? So it's just for me, just to check box and say, I did something today. I put some energy and effort into this thing that I want, which is increase my book sales. Because the more people read the book, the more people we connect with. And that's why you write things, is to connect with people. That's art, right? And we could do the same thing with music. We have, for example, 5 songs that we've released, and we sent it out to 100 different stations. So that could be played. You get the point. So 9 books, 20 different platforms, 3 different formats. We're already looking at hundreds and hundreds and hundreds of one thing you could do for that one day each week. Then I looked at how many social media profiles we actually have, which is kind of scary. Individually, like just for my own. Let's look at Facebook. I have my self-published NL page. I have my Vicky Morgan, famous sexy writer page. I have my Mulberry Creek page. I have my personal Facebook page. I also have, there's more. There's a group page for fans of the podcast. There's another group that I started called Famous Sexy Writers Club. There's another group called Songwriter Sessions, because I was going to gather together all the songwriters. And again, they're started. When I get a new idea for what I want to do, the first thing I do is, and we are very guilty of this, we should start a website and we should start a Facebook page before we even start the idea. So on Facebook, how many was that? Six different profiles on Facebook.
Yeah.
Some of them are business profiles, some of them are community profiles, some of them are pages, whatever. Then you go over to Instagram. I don't know how many. I've got one for Ginger Sparkle Dust. I've got one for Red, when I was doing self-defense instruction. I've got one for Empower Books, Self Published NL, Vicky Morgan, famous sexy writer, Vicky Morgan personal page, Mulberry Creek, and of course Ginger Sparkle Dust is my elf.
Christmas elf.
Character. Yeah. So that's 8 on Instagram. Let's go to TikTok. There's one there for Red. There's one there for Empower Books, which had a viral video go a couple of years ago when we were at a signing, and I danced and we put a Halloween song behind it. It went viral, so I don't want to delete that account. We also have Famous Sexy Writer, which used to be my video production page, which has over, I think it has 1,170 subscribers. So I don't want to do it. I don't want to lose that. We have... there's how many more TikToks are there? There's Mulberry Creek. There's Mulberry Creek that we spelled wrong. There's my comedy page, Vicky Morgan Comedy, because I was going to be a comedian, remember? And that has a whole bunch of posts that went really well and some that didn't and some that I boosted. So altogether I have how many? 10 TikToks. Okay? Let's go over to LinkedIn. I only have one on LinkedIn. I think. I might have Vicky Morgan and Self Published NL. I'm not sure.
Yeah, I ended up with 2 myself, so it's confusing.
So then we're going over to Pinterest. And I didn't know what I was doing. Remember from way back when we first started the podcast, I had a Pinterest profile because I watched a video with Jenna Kuchar and she said Pinterest is where it's at because your stuff is evergreen. So I got at least 2 profiles on Pinterest because I don't know what I'm doing and I don't know how to use Pinterest, but I have 2 profiles on there. And then we go over to Etsy. Apparently, I needed an Etsy seller page and an Etsy customer page. So, because you can sell your books on Etsy. Did you know that?
Yeah.
You can sell your audiobooks and your ebooks on Etsy. There's a video.
It's a digital product.
You can sell it on Etsy. I haven't.
I mean, technically you could sell your paperbacks on there too. You would just have to
mail them.
Ship them and mail them.
But you can do a digital product on Etsy.
Digital products are super easy.
You can also do patterns and things like that on Etsy. So, all those platforms. So, we got 9 books, 20 platforms, 3 different formats, right? So if I wanted to just do one post on Monday about For the Grace of Joe, is now available on Nobo, or what is it? Kobo? Kubu. Nook is another one. Again, these platforms, there's so many of them because we distributed widely. The social media calendar would be let's say for 1 week, I'm going to promote For the Grace of Joe.
Yeah.
And so I'm going to post a little picture that says now available on Amazon. This is without even getting into emotional content. Are you afraid that your marriage is going to break up because you lost a baby? I felt that way too. This book might help. It's not even creative content. It's just awareness campaign at that point. So the number that we came to was 17,280 between all the platforms and all the profiles and the products. That's
how many potential posts you can make or days you can post if you do one a day.
So for every book that I have, there are reviews. If you're counting review, just as a content idea, the reviews that have been posted about any of the books. So people have messaged me directly after they've read one of the books. Some people don't leave reviews on Amazon, and that's fine. But they sent me something personal, which I believe they expect that I can use. I don't need to necessarily use their name, but they give me feedback, so I assume it's meant for.
One of my ideas for my stuff is to do a carousel on Instagram of customer reviews, just of nice things people have said, not necessarily reviews that have been left, because like you said, there's not that. People do it in different ways. It's not a review on Facebook necessarily, or your Google site. It's sometimes this was great. It's a text, or it's a message on Facebook, or it's a message through Instagram. Happens in a bunch of different ways. So right now we have 5 different topics. We have books, music, podcast, self-publishing consulting, and Josh's graphic design. Right now we're at, it doesn't matter, but let's call it a lull. And so we're sitting around going, okay, so we can cry in our beer all day long. We're coming out of winter.
We're coming out of the winter
Yeah.
of our lives, and we're melting the ice off those branches. And so it's like, I would feel a little bit better instead of waiting for the stuff to just show up on the doorstep. I would feel a little bit better if I had a marketing plan in place. And I know I've talked about this probably since we started the podcast. I'm going to do a marketing plan. We have at least opened a file on Google Drive.
Yeah,
and Josh
started.
has 12 ideas that he's working on for his graphic design and video work, which is like, he's so good at it. And I don't know how to present that. But again, that's the challenge of marketing. So of course you're not going to sit down and come up with the content and the copywriting and the concepts, because your work is to figure out what you want to do for money. That's your job.
Yeah.
The marketing person would say, what kind of stuff, like what have people said to you? What kind of work do you like doing? What are your benefits? Like what can you provide that the next guy can't? Like those are the sorts of things that a marketing consultant would draw out of you, which I know I'm good at that for other people. I'm not good at it for myself. And Josh looked at me earlier tonight and he said, maybe you should hire somebody to do your marketing.
I think my specific words were, successful people probably aren't doing their own marketing. Like, because you were saying that you're really good at doing marketing for other people, and you have a hard time marketing
I know
yourself.
I know I got a lot of
and
energy.
People that are super successful have people behind them going, let's try this, or have you thought about this, or what do you want to do with this? And then so you don't have to focus on that. You can just focus on the doing of the thing, and then somebody else is like, here's some marketing stuff for you, and here's some, So I think that it's easy for you to do it for other people because you're not focused on doing their
personal.
work.
It's not personal.
Marketing.
Yeah. I can't separate from myself and any things that I've created. I can't step back and go, this is a real benefit. You know who this would be great for? It just doesn't compute. You can't teach yourself. I mean, lots of people do, but for this thing, I think it might be time to call it and say, you know what? I might need some help with the marketing. But the social media calendar, to start, like, it doesn't need to be the message or how it's going to get into people's hands. It's really awareness. Like, do people know that the books are out there? And I feel like I'm saying this every single week on the podcast, and I feel like I'm posting to death on Facebook. And then somebody will say, I had no idea you wrote a book. Like, are you serious? I'm driving my friends crazy.
Are you kidding me?
Not that anybody is telling me that I post too much, but like, if I see the friend count go down by 1, it's like, oh, it's probably because I posted about my book again, or probably because I posted about a show. But I don't know. But I think there's people, and then I'll run into somebody. Am I talking really fast or too loud?
No, you're perfect.
Oh. Sometimes I'll run into somebody. It happens at Michael's a lot for some reason. But I'll run into somebody and they'll say, I know I don't comment on your stuff, but I love what you're doing. I love it. It makes me happy, or it gets me out of a funk when I'm having a bad day, or I love seeing your stuff. And it's like, and I like right now I'm in my head going, nobody believes that anybody has ever said that to you. But I swear to God, they did.
No,
they did.
That's
it's true.
That's
Sometimes
fact.
he's even there.
I'm usually there.
We were somewhere the other day and you said it was nice to be around people. Oh, we were at a funeral. And we ran into some people who I knew in kindergarten.
Yeah, from your early days.
Kindergarten. My kindergarten best friend. Her mom passed away. And Josh said we were coming away from the funeral. It was actually a really, really nice time. And Josh said it was nice to be around people that liked you. And I thought that was a really nice thing to say. Yeah, the funeral was brutal. I mean, it was heartbreaking.
We had a chat with our 15-year-old about wake. He was like, I don't understand wakes. Why would you pay thousands of dollars to just have a party in the funeral home, and why can't you just do it at your house or whatever? And it's like, well,
first of all, it's not a party.
You don't have to do it at the funeral home also. But
right.
Like we were saying, like it's important because you get to, like I said, most of the time when people leave a wake and they're like, this was really nice. Like I hate that we have to meet this way to have so much fun, or like it's really been great to see, because you haven't seen people for years or whatever. And it's usually like a nice experience once you get past all the crying and the grief.
There is lots of crying, and
having the support and people there that love you, and it's nice.
I think my favorite thing about wakes is that you can be your authentic self. So if you're having a conversation and you're talking about the old days or whatever you're planning on doing next or whatever, it's totally normal to burst into tears because you reminded somebody or they reminded you, and you can really be your actual true self, like the one that sits around the house with no bra and sweatpants on, or shorts and a t-shirt. Like it's just, you're just do you feel attacked?
I like how you looked at me and were like, or whatever this guy's wearing.
You're comfortable right now, and that's why this podcast works, is because we're comfortable and it's just us.
They can't see my bottom half. I could have on dress pants and very nice cowboy boots.
He's wearing a skirt.
A hula grass skirt.
Yep.
Anyway,
a kilt. It's
comfortable.
a kilt.
Comfort
Do you have underwear on under your kilt? Well, that's it. It's the most comfortable, authentic way. Like wakes are. I mean, you're wearing usually stuffy clothes, like staticky pants and stuff like that. But it really is your raw and rugged, ragged self, and your emotions are right there on the surface. And Renee showed up for me when my mom passed away in October, and I got to say, I was not in a rush to go back to the funeral home. It was the same one, same room. And of all the people that were hurting and going through a lot, I mean, Renee was there with her when she passed, and she was taking care of her for the last little while. And, I gave her a hug, and she said, thank you for coming down. I can't imagine how hard this was for you to come to this funeral home. And her mom had just passed away. I just, the capacity people have for compassion and care is it sets the bar really high, which makes it really bad for the jerks, I got to say.
That's true. Yeah.
It really does. Because I'm just fortunate to know the people that I do, and it was nice to see. And of course, the promises in the parking lot. We're going to get together all the time, and we're going to call each other, and we're going to do all the things. And I hope we do, because life is, that's what it's, it's getting shorter all the time. Or, I think Jerry Seinfeld says it's the longest thing you'll ever do in your whole life is living.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's
but anyway, so that's...
so we got lots of marketing coming up, right?
So with
You're
the
going to be
content
seeing
calendar...
so much of us.
Well,
it's
the content calendar
too
is...
much of us.
Well, so these pages that are set up, on my personal page, no, I'm not going to post on there every day. But the social media pages, like the author page that I've set up, people have signed up on, they click like or follow because they are interested in what I'm doing as a writer. The Mulberry Creek page, they're on there because they are following our music. And they want to know we're doing shows. They want to know that we're looking for songwriters to do songwriter sessions.
So that's what they expect to see.
That's what they expect. So
pages.
if they're posting every day, nobody's going to get angry at you for posting music stuff on Mulberry Creek or graphic design stuff on Josh Morgan video. It's just what they're there for. Self-published NL. People are on there, I would think, to get advice for self-publishing. So it really is, but thinking of the intention so that you don't have that cringe, so don't post it on your personal page. Set up a author page. Set up the creative thing that you're doing, whether it's beekeeping or genealogy reports or whatever. I know I go back to those, but they're my favorites.
That's okay.
They're my favorites. They're inspiring, wonderful people.
That's our closest examples.
Well, I want to change gears a little tiny bit because we were in a comic book store today, and I have a friend who is in the process of moving and starting a comic book store, and I'm very, very, very excited about it. In the comic book store we saw today, there was all these self-published books.
Yeah, there was a whole section of
really
local self-published comics and graphic novels.
Graphic novels and comic books and we knew one of the authors. We know him from a different capacity in theater, but he had all these self-published books sitting there, and he had a publishing name that he uses, but it was very much self-published stuff, and it was this is and our kids love graphic novels and comics. So I just want to encourage anybody that's thinking about, it doesn't need to be a memoir. It doesn't need to be a how-to book. It doesn't need to be a photography book or anything like that. If you're good at drawing, there's ways to make your books and tell your stories. Maybe you tell things in pictures. Maybe you tell it with a chapter, and then there's a whole image that you had in your mind, so it's almost illustrated. But just keep writing. It's just
make the thing.
I'm in that phase of my life where I'm you know what? There's really good stuff. It's not about, are you going to make a mountain of money? I don't know. I can't promise that. But I can promise you that you're going to feel good. So we talked about vitamins and painkillers last week. I mean, depends on how much pain you're in, really, because creative stuff absolutely, to me, I know this is the opposite of what I said last week, but creative work is definitely a painkiller. It's not a thing that it's not a thing that improves your life. It's sometimes, most of the time, saves people's lives, because otherwise the alternative is to just go day to day and keep doing the same stuff and feeling miserable and not feeling like you left your mark in the world. Yeah. That's what creativity gives you, is the chance to make something that didn't exist before. And then you have it. Even if it's a content calendar. Yeah. We had Amber Petty on here early on in the season, and she said, make your marketing art, which I think is gorgeous. And I think taking the pressure away of, it's got to have certain X number of sales. I'm not comfortable with how much I've marketed my books, which I know you're assuming I mean too much, but it's the opposite. I don't feel like I've given my books their day in the sun.
All right.
Because I cringe when I post. I'm afraid of people, but it's the same group of people that I'm afraid are going to get mad at me for posting, but they haven't bought my books. I don't know why they keep scrolling, but I do know that the marketing has really been based in Facebook. And that is not a place to sell your books.
It can be rough.
That is not where people that are going to buy your book are not hanging out on Facebook. I don't think. Some groups are. But I love, there's a phrase Amber Petty uses, and she says, spend a little, and again, in your content calendar, you can put one of the things for one of those days to go do some nice, what does she call it? Nice marketing or nice commenting. So you're not going in and dropping like, hey, here's my book is available, and you put it in a group for grieving moms, but you go in and if somebody posts during the week organically and asks a question that you can answer, you answer it. And maybe you answer it from your author page, or maybe you answer from your personal page. And when they click on because they're going to go click on your personal profile to see what you're about, to make sure you're not a bot or AI. And maybe in your bio, you have writer of blah, blah, blah novel about blah, blah, blah. And they go, oh, it's like, but you're engaging in an organic way because then you have this connection and it happens. It works. But it's nice marketing. It's not going in and trying to sell and then running out the door, which nobody likes that. So, but that can be one of the things you do that day for your content calendar. So maybe Mondays, you can come up with themes. Mondays can be things you did in the past. Tuesdays can be things you're working on right now. Wednesdays can be stuff you're hoping to do. So you take a picture of the Mary Brown Center and say, I hope to play there one of these days. Or you take a picture of the public library and say, I wish I could do a signing there one of these days. Or I want to do a genealogy report on the Secretary of Defense. Whatever. Like whatever I can't
goals.
Imagine. You can set up a theme for each of those days. And just one task. There's a book called Atomic Habits by, I can't remember his name. He's got a great name for the book too. It's really it sounds like a book he should write. But it's called it's the idea that there's this little tiny fraction of a thing you can do every single day. And so a content calendar, just starting a file in Google for now. Just name it. My social media calendar. Send it to me. Send me a screenshot. Let me know what you're doing it. And then I'll go, yeah, I guess I should get mine going too. And then we'll encourage each other.
Yeah.
It'll be great.
Yeah.
So that's everything I got. So what was the number? Do you remember?
7,582.
Oh, not even close.
No?
Nope. I mean, it's in the ballpark. 17,000.
280.
280. What's the thing when you do darts?
I don't know.
What's the high score in darts?
500?
180.
Oh.
Yeah.
I thought you meant
but
like
that's
the
different.
game. Gotcha.
17,280. So that's the magic number. So are we going to do a skill testing question or something? How are we going to... I said there'd be a prize.
Yeah. The prize is your knowledge. It's you know. You
know what? I think I'm going to throw this out there. Jesus is laying this on my heart. If you would be interested in being my social media, my marketing person, if you have ideas for our social media stuff or anything like that, and you are also thinking about writing a book, like if you want to do prompts, like send me a text every day and say, hey, take a video of what you're having for breakfast and say this and link to the book, whatever.
Yeah.
If you want to be that person that's outside of my brain that thinks what we're doing is good, and you want to trade services, I'd be up for that.
Bartering. We love it.
We could barter.
We love that.
There's probably someone out there that could benefit from what we do. And I feel like I should be clear about what I do. I'm a formatter. I format.
And a consultant.
I don't edit. I mean, yeah, I can tell you how to set up your stuff. Yes, I do consulting work, but it's really formatting. And what does formatting mean? Because maybe that's a word that I was a secretary for so long that I don't even... No, it's just so germane. But you know it too. Formatting is like when you do your document, for example, in Google Doc, and you try to put it into KDP, Kindle Direct Publishing, it's going to go... Blah.
All the margins and the spacing
like you shook up a
everything's
boggle.
Gonna, yeah.
Yeah, it's going to be like a boggle game, and you slammed it down on the table. So it needs to be properly indent at the beginning of your sentence for your chapter. The chapter number needs to be the same in each chapter. The page numbers need to be in the same spot throughout the book. There needs to be a table of contents. There needs to be your sentences, a couple of spacing after each sentence, quotation marks when there's somebody says stuff. That's what I do. I don't change your book. I don't edit at all. I do not change the voice. If you said Josh said blah 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 and there's supposed to be a comma, I'll change your punctuation. But that's it. And if you have called an orphan or a widow on the bottom of a page and it looks really weird because there's only one line there and then the last page of your chapter is only one sentence, that's the kind of stuff that I'll go back through and fix. And those are the things that keep your books out of bookstores. When they don't, when there's spelling mistakes, grammar mistakes, unless it's in the voice, unless you're purposely... Yeah. Unless your character is talking in a certain accent or whatever.
That's the thing.
But when you want a polished book, when you want it in bookstores, when you want it to be, well, first of all, you want it to pass KDP standards and all the other platforms. But if you want it in bookstores, you want it to look professional.
It feels really good when you give the bookstore a sample and they say, yeah, let's buy 5 or 6 copies and put it in the store.
And your story deserves proper formatting, because if it doesn't look good, you're not going to get the proper sales. You're not going to get the amount of sales and attention that, and yes, people judge it by its cover. And they also judge it when they open it up and they go, yikes, it's all... Late years ago, a lady gave me a copy of her book, and she, the title was in dark blue, and I mean like beautiful royal, like navy blue, on a black background. And so you couldn't actually read the title. And she ordered 1,000 copies, and she just sold those anyway. So those are self-publishing horror stories that, makes it just, it can be better than that. And
it's one thing to have a misplaced comma in chapter 42, but like to have the cover unreadable is like,
but this is the thing that this is, if you want to read How to Be a Famous Sexy Writer, that's in whatever chapters it is, where you order a draft and you order one. And I know you're eager to get your book out, but please don't order 1,000 copies until you've had a draft in your hand and you've taken at least a couple of weeks to step back from it, and because
see if it's what you actually want.
If you see it 3 days after you sent it to KDP, you're not going to read it. You're not going to see it clearly. You need a little bit of space from it. So you look at a draft of it, and then you do a second draft. You do a second run, and you make changes in it, and you wait till you get the next draft and go through that one again, because you'll regret it when you order a great big batch of your books. Or people don't usually give you feedback on grammar and stuff like that, but your story deserves the best proper formatting. Anyway, that's what I do. So if you want your book formatted and you want to help me and barter with whatever, distribution of my music, or help me with a marketing plan and help with my social media calendar, I'm not going to give you my passwords, but maybe you could like text me every day, or 3 or 4 times a week, and say, idea. Hey, have you thought about, or challenge me? Like, I'm thinking there's a few writers that watch the podcast. Maybe we can challenge each other. Maybe I can get in touch and say, hey, did you post anything about your book today? Or a prompt that we prompt each other all week long, where it's, it really deserves, people need to know what you have for sale. And if you don't let anybody know it's available, how are they going to find it? And yes, you can meditate and you can hope that the universe brings people to you. But you can make it a little bit better and easier for the universe to at least put a little signpost out in front of your door so they know they're knocking on the right door, or that it's available in 3 formats, things like that. You can help. You can grease the wheel of your own dreams.
Participate.
That's my last thought.
Perfect. Final thoughts. That's good.
That was my final thought.
So
grease the wheel.
We're going to do some
Keep
marketing.
Writing. Are we?
And then we'll get back next week and see how that went.
And some math. We're going to do some more
marketing and math. That's the title of this episode.
Yeah, there you go. All right. So this is Are You Mad at Me? And I'm Vicki Morgan.
I'm Josh Morgan.
Thank you so much for listening. We'll see you next week.
Bye.